Cyberdimension Neptunia, 4 Goddesses Online, is part of the Neptunia series and was released in 2017 by Tamsoft and Compile Heart. The plot of 4 Goddesses Online follows the 4 heroines of the Neptunia series, Noir, Blanc, Vert, and Neptune, as they are invited to play a brand new MMO. Things progress in the game normally until a pair of new characters, one of which looks a lot like Kirito from Sword Art Online, are gifted cheats by a mysterious cloaked figure. These cheats work in these characters' favor for a short while until the game starts to break down and the program starts to take on a life of its own, threatening the stability and usability of the game itself. As you can probably tell from that synopsis, the events of this game aren't really consequential when it comes to the continuity of the Neptunia series. The characters aren't in any particular danger themselves, and nothing is threatening their real world, thus making 4 Goddesses Online more of a side story than a main entry. That does pose a bit of an issue for players that haven't played any of the series before, as there is a lot of self-referential humor, and not a ton in the way of exposition to help out. It's nothing a quick search online won't solve, but that might be a bit too much effort for some. Also, if you're getting strong .hack vibes from this description, you wouldn't be terribly off the mark. While they don't look or play identically, it's pretty clear that the game was heavily inspired by that series, and I'm pretty sure there were a few references thrown in there for good measure. Graphically, the Neptunia series has never been on the cutting edge, but it gets by on its bright, vibrant colors and attractive character designs. And 4 Goddesses Online continues that trend. It also adds levels that feel a lot bigger than previous entries, with little to no load times on the PC version, as well as real-time battles instead of the turn-based battles the series is usually known for. This fast-paced gameplay style is definitely the biggest draw of the game, with numerous different characters with different playstyles to try out. Personally, I loved playing as Noir's little sister Uni, as her agility and guns allowed me to fill enemies full of holes long before they even got close to me. And when a game has a character that can flip and jump around and stuff, that's usually who I pick. The gameplay suffers a bit when it comes to the AI of the enemies and the characters you're not currently playing as. The enemies tend to be rather stupid and generally just rush straight at you, while the pathing of your other characters gets confused and walks off edges, gets stuck, or misses enemies entirely. This would be a really big problem if the game was difficult, but besides a few points where the difficulty would suddenly spike, I found the game really easy. Even bosses that are hyped up as being super tough and had huge health bars would generally go down without too much fuss. While fighting enemies was mostly a joy, the dungeons themselves left a lot to be desired. While they weren't totally awful, they felt pretty underwhelming, and there weren't that many of them in total. While MMOs can get away with this because they have regular areas, multiple cities and towns, as well as PvP, 4 Goddesses Online doesn't have any of this. All it has is a single town to visit, and it, as well as the overworld map, is all shown using a 2D map instead of fully realized areas. The game's story often requires you to speak with certain characters in order to propel the plot forward, and this is one place where the 2D map comes in handy, as you don't need to search for them, but it still feels kind of cheap. Besides speaking to characters, the main way to advance the story is to complete quests for the town's guild. It's pretty basic MMO stuff, for example, kill X amount of enemy type, but it works well for the MMO style the game is going for. The multiplayer aspect of the game also uses the same framework with about 39 quests for you to play with friends. Unfortunately, you can't play the full campaign cooperatively, and the netcode causes this mode to become a huge lag fest. Another fun addition to the game is all of the different items and costumes you can find. Fitting the items is a little weird as you have to stick them onto the character models yourself, but it certainly opens up a lot of customization options. A lot of really stupid customization options. Lastly, I wanted to mention the soundtrack, by Yuki Sugiura and Takoyaki O, which mimics the orchestral soundtracks a lot of MMOs have, but adds the quirky spin the Neptunia series music is usually known for. You'd think the two wholly different types of music would clash really badly, but Four Goddesses Online makes it work somehow. While it does work great in the context of the game and is more unique than your standard video game soundtrack these days, it's still not quite good enough for me to listen to on its own. In the end, I found Cyberdimension Neptunia Four Goddesses Online a fun time. There was definitely some jank, and things were a bit too easy at times, but it was perfect for some light fun here and there. It's not a must-buy by any means, but if it piques your interest, I'd say go check it out.